everybody. Chances are your closest neighbor is your next of kin. Way up high where the moon shines bright on Great Mountain. The only place in this world I call my home. The higher you climb, the closer you get to heaven. Way up high where the moon shines bright on Great Mountain. The only traffic jam that you're gonna find is a big parade of four-wheel drives and tractors come harvest time. We love Hank Jr., ZZ Top,
Got a good one on this gorilla jig. It's a big one. Fixing to come up. That's a toad. Big largemouth on that gorilla jig. It's really fun. We're hitting these trees and blowdowns that the sun's hitting. And we just had our cameraman go overboard. That's a really good largemouth. Our cameraman just fell in the water and it's like 30 degrees outside and water temperature's 40 something. This is a really good largemouth though. It's a toad actually. I felt him hit it. He just hit it as soon as I started to drag this, and I'm just dragging it really slow, and they're hitting it. He's even pulling the boat. This is a really good largemouth. Yeah, that's a really nice one. Got on this yank-um rod, 7-foot yank-um rod. It's a really good largemouth. That's a nice one. Really big largemouth. That is a darn good one. Look where that yank-um jig is. He really swallowed that jig. That's just a really good largemouth. I'm gonna go ahead and put her back here in a second.
Alright, well our cameraman said he wants to take a bath. We have a bass on camera. He fell in. So right now we're trying to get him dry. So tune in. See what happens.
Go.
Got a large mouth on a pulse jig. He has swallowed it. Ugh. He's got it deep down in there. I was just, you know, just kind of reeling this along and this guy bit. So we're going to throw him back and get back to you.
Get ready. Got a small one on a red-eye shad. It's got tougher. They pulled out here a little deeper, it seems like. Made one cast with this Strike King red-eye shad. Caught this one. It's not really a big fish. I know there's a lot more big ones out there. What I'm doing with this red-eye shads, I'm throwing it out there and letting it, sinking it to the bottom and reeling it kind of slow. I'm not reeling it too fast. Like I said, water temperature's kind of cold and they're sluggish. But go ahead, keep on throwing it and see if we can catch some more on it. Got a big one here on the gorilla jig. It's a really big fish. There he is right there. Really nice one. They're right in front of that brush pile right there. Got loose beats. They really help us out a lot. When I caught this 10-pounder, It was really windy and it was hard to keep our boat in position. The wind kept on trying to drift us up over the brush we was fishing, so we had to keep on the trolling motor and try to keep it off. When fishing blowdowns and docks and stuff like that, you want to keep off as far off as you can from your cover you're fishing. That bass weighed 10 pounds on our scales. Go.
Got this largemouth jig. Got one at Zoom. Chuck. Just fishing these trees right here. Just had one come off, catch right back in there. Caught this guy. He ain't no size, but you know, we're kind of trying to start figuring out what they're kind of keying in on. So we'll get back to him.
Pretty good largemouth. We hit it right next to the boat. Pretty good fish. Get him up here. There he is. Pretty darn good one. Just kind of slow rolling it out there. Ain't really reeling it too fast. Good fish. It's a really nice largemouth. Yeah, he hit it just about when it got to the boat. Got it in that sexy shade color. Really hitting that thing though. It's a nice largemouth. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back. Got one on the Gorilla jig once again. Got a little hung up in there in some brush. I think he's on the end of it. Right there he is. He's hung up pretty bad. Not a big fish, but just got wrapped up around that limb right there. Smaller largemouth. Just really working it real slow throughout that brush and stuff. We've been catching some pretty good ones. Go ahead and get him back in. When we're fishing these blowdowns and trees overhanging the water and stuff like that, we make sure we really pick them apart and throw in every little nook and cranny in them. Those bass are really tied up in the cover, and there's some crappie in there and some bluegill as well. But I would throw usually these jigs in there, so like green pumpkin jigs and things of that, colors of that nature.
When we throw these in there, you kind of want to work your bait real slow, like a little gentle pull, and maybe a hop, and just real slow in here. Now, see, as we got away from the tree, we worked our bait out from the trees and kind of down where the bank kind of increases and makes a dent in this channelway right here. So you just want to keep pulling and work it real slow across through there. And we're going to get you a good trailer like we do right here, and real good zoom crawl, and we're just hitting these trees.
Pretty good. Got a good one on the yank-um gorilla jig once again. Going up the back of the boat, don't worry. Just running around everywhere. Feels like a good fish. Really good on that. Really hasn't showed himself much. Oh yeah, that's a good fish. Really good largemouth. Really nice fish. Just working, like I said, real slow earlier. It's a really good largemouth. But we're using, in this clear water, we're using fluorocarbon. We're using heavier fluorocarbon though, like 14-pound test and stuff like that. We're not throwing it way back in the trees and stuff though, but you know, in murky water and stuff like that, you want to pick apart trees and you want to throw in every little nook and cranny. But today we're throwing our jigs on the outskirts, these blowdowns of trees. Catch a pretty good fish like this. We're going to go ahead and get her back.
When we went to Spiller's Lake, we tried a bunch of different baits to try to trigger the big bass to bite. We had a bunch of warm weather come in, and then when we went down there, it turned to a cold snap. So we picked up a yank-um gorilla jig and started casting on the outskirts of the brush, and we had a zoom speaker on the back of this. Now when we'd cast it up there, we'd drag it real slow at maybe 1 or 2 little hops, and keep dragging it. Now when we got a bite, it would feel it just get heavy. We weren't hitting it real hard because of the cold weather. They just grab it, you could feel it get a little heavy, and you'd set the hook, and that's how we're catching some of our big bass. The other bait we were also using was a red-eye shad from Strike King. Now we were throwing this in about 10-12 foot of water out pretty deep to get them off where all the fish were pulling off in the bank from the cold weather. We just tried different varies of speeds. You know, you reel it slow, and sometimes you'd burn it in, and sometimes you'd rip it. It just really depends. Some of the bass were hitting different. Some liked it slow, some liked it fast. You just kind of got to get in the middle of it, and whichever one really, the fish will tell you what they want. So that's just what we're using on Spiller's Lake. On all of our, we had to swap up our line choices. We had 3 different rods with 3 different line choices on it. We had braid, monofilament, and fluorocarbon. They were wanting the fluorocarbon better because the lake had cleared up a lot since we've been there. They wouldn't hit braid, they wouldn't hit mono. So we had to switch it up to fluorocarbon, and that's where we got all of our big bites on. You could tie the same jig on, the same setup, and you have it on braid, and you wouldn't get a hit on it, and you cast into the same tree. With fluorocarbon, you catch fish. So just kind of split your line choices up, and you'll catch more fish by doing that. A couple other choices we tried was a weightless Senko, you know, real slow, hopping across the bottom. We threw a shaky head, and we caught a couple fish on it, but it wasn't the really bites we wanted. But every kind of environment's different, so I've just tried those different things, and you might have more success on one lake with a shaky head, and you might have more success with a Senko on another lake. You just kind of swap it up and just see what the fish are telling you. You'll catch more fish by being more versatile and trying different things. When we were fishing this structure and fishing these different techniques, the one main thing we did was we kept our boat away from the structure, because we were getting a lot of bites out away from the structure, and it was giving us time to give the fish a little more sight of the bait as we were working it back towards the boat. So just try it, and I guarantee you'll have better success if you keep your boat far enough away from your structure.
That's yank-um jig. I was just about to reel it back in, and I felt it hit it. It's not too big. Yeah, they're really hitting these jigs today, though. That's about all I'm getting to buy. We've been throwing a few fast-moving baits. When these cold fronts move in, it's been warm the whole week, but when these cold fronts move in and everything, we always like to slow it down with a jig or something like that, and we usually catch pretty decent fish. It's one of the smaller ones. We catch some really good ones today, and like I said, though, when cold fronts, everything starts blowing through, just change up the presentation. Fish kind of slower, and sometimes you may even get a reaction bite with, you know, a lipless crankbait or just something different, but we usually fish slow in these conditions. Got one on a red-eye shad again. Wind's picked up, and I started throwing that a little more. He's not a big fish, but this wind's blowing really bad. It's just hard to fish, you know, slow moving baits like a worm and stuff. You can still do it, but it just makes it really tough. But baits like this red-eye shad or rattle traps, stuff like that in this cold weather, sometimes can trigger the bite. Put this guy back. Got a nice one on that red-eye shad. It's a pretty good large one. This is the best one we've caught on one of the lipless crankbaits. Yeah, it's up here in the shallow water this time. Be careful with him, he get me hooked. That's a good fish. It's a really good fish. We're just throwing these lipless crankbaits out there kind of toward the middle. We fishing flats really. There's some flats out here and they're not very deep. They're probably about 5 to 8 foot of water, and these fish are kind of schooled up on them. It's pretty good fish though. Nice, like I said, nice largemouth though. We're not reeling it too fast though. Sometimes we'll rip it occasionally to get one's attention. Sometimes we'll get a bite. But in this cold weather, we're not running it too fast. Just kind of a slow, steady reel. I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy back. Got one on the drill jig once again. Pretty nice largemouth. Line broke or something like that. But yeah, I had that pretty far back in the brush right over there. Go ahead and get the boat situated. We'll get right back to you. We got another one on the red-eye shad. It's a pretty good fish. It's not too bad. Just throwing it out here in some of the deeper water. It's kind of like a flat out here. And they're in that flat. It's like a big flat out through here, and we're throwing like these red-eye shads and the lipless crankbaits. And we even tried a few square bills. They weren't really too interested in square bill crankbait, but for some reason this red-eye shad they're really liking. And this sexy shad color. There's a lot of crappie in this lake. We've been catching a few of them too, black crappie. Pretty good healthy population of largemouth in this body of water too. He ain't too bad, he's a decent fish. Go ahead and put him back.
I got one on a shaky head, on a chartreuse pepper. Oh, he's a head shaking. He's not too big, but it's kind of slowed down since this morning. We kind of changed techniques here now. We're throwing shaky head, and he's real light colored. I caught this one on shaky head. I had to change up a little bit. I was throwing a jig. I threw a shaky head earlier this morning, but I had it on a green pumpkin worm. So I said, you know, let's try something a little off the wall. Ain't catching much, but first cast with the, or second cast this worm, and got a bass. So maybe we're catching on to something.